Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, I think one of the biggest things of my lifetime that's affected fishing, affected our lives, was this unbelievable storm. You can call it a tropical storm, a hurricane, whatever, that hit us a little while back. And we know that it flooded every river, but it not only flooded them. These rivers became a torrential flow of water. I mean, power, menace, just almost evil in the sense of what they could do. Now, my buddy Rust went out fishing this last weekend, and he said he went on one of his favorite small rivers, and he was fishing for muskies. That's what Rust loves to do. And he catches a lot of muskies, returns them all. But on this day, it wasn't the muskie fishing, the abundance or lack of them that really struck a chord with him. It's finding that his favorite river is no longer the same. The flood has completely rebuilt or tore down and rebuilt that river like it's hard to even imagine. He said, Don, where there used to be banks, there weren't banks, and I think he means higher banks that were washed away. Little islands in the middle of the river were gone. The flood had completely erased them. And so what has happened? The river is flowing a different course now. It's a different home. And the fish that survived this storm now have to figure out where they're going to go, how they're going to live, because their home is gone. It's no different than what a storm does to us in a hurricane or a tornado. And we have to rebuild or find a new area to live or whatever if we're at the center of that storm, and these fish were at the center. One of the things is probably a lot of them got washed way back into other areas, will never return to where they were. They may have got washed way downriver. As powerful as fish are, and in a past radio show, I talked about how much more powerful they are than we think and how they can survive tremendous changes and forces of water. But we're talking now about an even more tremendous, even more than spring runoff. This is something that is having an incredible effect. Now, the good part of it maybe is that it's almost the same as, let's say, when the DEC or the state decides to take an area, and it could be in any state, any area, and do a controlled burn, to burn off everything's there and rebuild. Have nature rebuild that area again because it needed that. Well, maybe this is the case with a river too. Maybe this torrential flow of water will cleanse and almost rebuild the waterway. You know, I don't know if that's a far-fetched sort of reaction I have to what's happening, but it is what has happened. And so your favorite body of water, I don't care which one and where it is never going to be the same. This has changed it. I remember I grew up on the Genesee River down in Allegheny County, and a hurricane came through 30 or 40 years ago, and it changed that river forever. It's never been the same again. It's not the same river that I grew up on because everything, my favorite pools, my favorite places to go as a kid, were all no longer the same. They're gone. So if I was to go back to that river and refine the love of being on it that I've always had, I'd have to find new areas where the fish had found to live. And it's kind of the same way here. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.